Mr. Tim Robbins, welcome to Debrecen. We are so delighted to have you here. At the press conference on Monday, after you just arrived, you said one moment in a theater can actually heal for a lifetime. You also said that as a child you saw two remarkable performances which actually changed your life. Can you tell us about that? What was the actual impact on you?
The one that had the most impact on me was in New York City, they did this free Shakespeare at the park in the summer times. And it was by a Romanian director named Andrei Serban, who directed this beautiful Shakespeare production. And I remember it kind of changed my worldview. It made me realize that there was something very, very potent on the stage that could tell a large story and affect so many people, even though this play was written hundreds of years ago, even though this director I didn't know. It was something that just took me and shook me as a 12-year-old and made me understand what the power of theater is.
You still believe that?
I do believe that. I do feel that. I feel that there's a potential for healing always with the theater. Telling stories that can affect an audience, that affects their emotions, it affects the way that they see the world, it affects their compassion, their empathy. And it can also lead to questions that change your mind about things. I've always believed that that we have to enter onto a stage in a humble way. Humility is at the core of good theater. The worst words I can hear out of an actor's mouth is, "Don't worry, I've got this." I think it's essential to not know. Peter Brook talked about this a lot. Walking onto a stage.
Be aware.
Of what?
To be aware. Right.
To be aware, but also to not think you know. Because no character or no one in life really knows. There's arrogance that pretends to know, but it's like the joke, how do you make God laugh? Tell him what you're doing tomorrow. It's
fair to say.
Life is full of surprises, and you can prepare in your mind a scenario where you're angry at your girlfriend, you're going to go talk to her and you're going to tell her this and this and this and this and this, and you walk in the door and she's beautiful and she's got flowers and she says, "I love you," and all of the dialogue changes. Yeah. This is how we have to be when we walk onto a stage. We have to be in the moment, we have to know our lines, we have to be professional, but we also have to not know. And so this is what we're trying to do when we present theater with the Actors Gang.
The Actors Gang, let's just talk about that, your longest 40-year-old relationship, the Actors Gang, which you founded at UCLA. What keeps it going? What is the secret of yours as a company?
I have a group of not only great actors, but really wonderful human beings. There's 6 members of our company that are in Debrecen that are also educators in our school systems. There's actors within our company, in this company, that work in the prison project. They go into prisons to rehabilitate prisoners. We view theater as more than just what's on stage. We view theater as how we can affect and change our community, help change our community. We have a talent that we can bring to school children. We have a talent that we can bring to prisoners. And I've seen it time and time again, how theater transforms people. It can turn a shy, reserved, damaged child into a sentient, open leader, being able to speak to people eye to eye. I've seen it with prisoners where they are totally lost and with no touch, in touch with their emotions, I've seen them become leaders too. I've seen them change their lives. Art is a very, very potent and powerful force. And I think that the thing that is the biggest testament to that is that artists are feared in society, particularly in authoritarian societies. They're the first people that a dictator will go after. Artists have a power, a very strong power, and we talk about this in the play. Dionysus talks about how important the artist is to the truth, to society, and to learning about ourselves and being able to question what we've done. And with Topsy-Turvy, I think what our major mission with this was to really take a step back and look at what our behavior was like during lockdown in America. How we acted towards each other, how we lost our humanity, how brotherhoods were collapsed, how friendships ended, how families got split apart. This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy of the magnitude of the Greeks, how theater started, where they were trying to figure out how to tell a story to the Athens, to the citizens of Athens, how to tell a story that reflected their lives, their fears, and their society, and the disorder and trauma that the society was going through. They put it on stage, and they call on the gods, and they try to learn a lesson about human frailty, about human hubris, and how this is essential in making a healthy society. Start a dialogue through humor. Start a dialogue through tears.
How did you come up with the story? Because you are the writer, you are the director, the composer, and I actually have to tell you that I adore the fact that finally a Greek choir can be in the spotlight. How did you come up with it?
I was in a hotel room in London. I was in a 2-week quarantine.
Yeah.
I couldn't go out of my room for 2 weeks. And I would look out the window and I'd look at a London that was barren, nobody out. And for me it was quite dystopian. It was quite frightening. Yeah. And I started to write about that. I started to think about the Greeks. I started to think about what would Aphrodite think about this? What would Aphrodite think about families arguing with each other? What would Dionysus think about all of the meeting places shuttered, closed? All of the places where people can gather in dialogue were gone. And I started to see communication breakdown in society. I started to see where we used to have the ability in a bar or in a restaurant or in a theater or in a church, where you hear a conversation that is not of your opinion, but it's a human being that is saying it. And so you have to acknowledge there's a humanity behind that point of view. But during lockdown, we all got isolated into our little cocoons and our own algorithms that brought everybody that agreed with us into our little room. And so we had these little tribes that formed of opinion, but there was no counter opinion. And then when I saw the counter opinion start to be censored and castigated and ostracized, I thought, well, there's something very unhealthy here. Because in a disaster, in a terrible tragedy, it's absolutely essential to have dialogue. And all voices must be heard. We can't start censoring.
We will ever be healed from the COVID time.
I think that it's important that we remember what happened and never allow it to happen again. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do Topsy-Turvy. And it's not a political statement, it's a statement about how essential it is to be in communication and in commune and community with other people. That's what a society is.
What do you think?
Compliance through intimidation is never done by the good guys.
Yes. Can we talk about a little bit your cinematic journey? About Shawshank Redemption, if I may. It's about second chances. Do you believe in second chances, sir?
Yes, I believe in forgiveness. I think it's essential. I've been very concerned with cancel culture. I had a conversation with my company about 5-6 years ago, and there was some talk about some behavior of some celebrity or politician, and it was like, you know, I heard some talk about, you know, we shouldn't talk to that person anymore. You know, let's cancel that person. And I said, listen, guys, when we go into prison, we go into a room with 25 convicted felons. And do we go in with any judgment? No, we can't. The ultimate cancel culture is prison. How can you walk into a room with someone that has potentially, we don't know their crimes, but we know a certain amount of them have committed murder? Yeah. How can we walk in and forgive this and then cancel someone on the outside for something they said? It doesn't make any sense. People have a right to their opinion. They might not agree with you. You might not want to go hang out with them or go to a bar with them, but it's their right as a human being to have that opinion. Cancel them by not going to their show. Cancel them by not putting their record on. But how dare you say that they don't have the right to work because they have a different opinion than you? It just doesn't make any sense. We do not do that in prisons, so why would we do that outside?
If you would meet your childhood self, what would you say to him? What would you advise him?
I would say, hang on, it's going to be fine. Again, I wouldn't change anything because I think the struggles you go through define who you are. Every single movie I've ever done, every single play I've ever written and produced, directed, always had a mountain in front of it. There was always an obstacle that said, don't do it. I think it's important to be stubborn and to not take no for an answer. I try to train my actors the same way, that follow your heart, be generous with other people, be good to other people, but also know who you are and what you want, and insist on it. That's the way towards dignity. Oftentimes, actors have to make an awful lot of compromises in their life, and I see people that I came up with in the business that I don't recognize now because they have compromised their belief systems so much to attain fame or to hold on to fame, and it's not worth it. At the end of the day, it will reduce your ability to live honestly, and I don't envy their access because I know how the access is gained. To retain dignity as an artist is a very difficult thing. And one of the ways that you can do it is by having a direct relationship with an audience, because an audience will be honest to you. If you remove yourself from that direct experience, then you can be held up by people around you that are helping an illusion of you. And I don't want to live in an illusion of me. I want to live in a truth. And the truth, I have found, has always come from the theater. The theater will tell you, the audience will tell you when you're being dishonest.
So therefore it's irreplaceable. Yeah.
Yeah, and this experience, to be able to come to Debrecen, to this beautiful theater, is, for me, I think I said this the other day, this is exactly what I want to be doing. This is the life that I wanted. All of the other stuff is great. I love it. But it doesn't give me the same food for my soul and for my heart.
Do you like the theater's energy?
Yes,
So?
yes, you can
Like
feel
it?
it. Yes, you can feel, all spaces have an energy. This one has a great energy because you can feel the history of it.
Yeah.
You can feel the spirits that are still here. We have this in our space in Los Angeles too. We have a very nurturing building, and it's protected us in the past. And it's really about the energy you put into it, and it stays in the floorboards. It's like when you walk into a house and you're looking to, rent an apartment, and you walk in some places and they just embrace you. And then you walk in other places and you're like, oh shit, something's wrong here. I can't live here. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So one last question, just for fun, if you let me. Kate Winslet is in her bathroom. Jared Leto keeps it in the kitchen. Robert De Niro's at Texas University. So I'm curious, where do you keep your Academy Award, sir?
Oh, I was wondering where you were going with that.
I'm funny.
It's in my office. Yeah. Nothing
You.
exciting.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.